Trade makes the world go around as it improves lives, creates jobs, supports sustainable development. But it is at crossroads today amid the re-globalization, said the World Trade Organization, which is celebrating its 30th anniversary with a large gathering of great minds on global trade. CGTN is here at the headquarters of WTO for the Public Forum 2024 to bring you the most up-to-date ideas and up-to-task discussions on trade and our shared future. Join us and find out what's on the horizon. Hello, I'm Tian and welcome to CGTN's special production, Trade and Our Shared Future. The WTO Public Forum wrapped up last week. It took place amid growing challenges to multilateralism and increasing complexity in global supply chains. As nations steer their economies through rising geopolitical tensions and rapid technological shifts, the role of the WTO has never been more critical. China, as one of the world's largest trading nations, plays a central role in shaping the future of global commerce, together with others. What is the country's strategy toward equitable and inclusive trade? What it means for the World Trade Organization, the world's largest trading organization, and how China sees its role in reforming and strengthening the WTO. I asked all of these questions to Li Chenggang, the Chinese ambassador to the WTO in Geneva. He also explained in details the latest development of China's disputes on electronic vehicles against some other WTO members. Here is our exclusive conversation. During the Public Forum 2024 of the WTO, as someone representing China in Geneva in the WTO, what is your major takeaway from this year's event, which has involved almost 4,000 people from all over the world?
I can share with you my three observations. First, just now you mentioned almost 4,000 people from different regions of the world come to Geneva. I think
For trade?
For trade.
Yes.
Yeah, I think their presence alone will give us more confidence and encouragement. It shows members still have a belief in trade, in multilateral trading system. Second, during the public forum, there are more than 130 events. Different stakeholders raise their concerns, express their requests, and also share the views and ideas how to make this organization can more effectively operate. So we can learn a lot from the stakeholders. How should we improve our daily work to make this organization more relevant, more meaningful to the current global challenges? The third observation is the public forum provides a good opportunity for stakeholders, for government trade officials to exchange views, to deepen mutual understanding, and build trust. You know, trust is the basis for the international cooperation. So we hope this, through the public forum events, we can gradually improve our work in the WTO.
So from what you have heard, the messages at the forum, what are some of the most important to you?
Members, the different stakeholders, they have more expectation on China, because now after the accession to WTO, almost already more than 20 years, China now is the biggest trader for goods, and also the major trading partner for over the 140 countries and regions. So we have a more responsibility in WTO. The members truly looking at China. They have a high expectation on China. They're also counting on China. So we, as a major member of this organization, China should seriously think about what we should do, what we can do to cooperate with members, to help this organization, to keep this organization more relevant to the real world, to help this organization to create more deliverables to tackle the global challenges.
Do you see there is any priority from where you are as to how we can set an example or try to seek a path forward out of a very complex and intertwined situation?
The first thing is trade itself is not the problem. Trade should be part of the solution to the problem, to address the problem.
Well said.
So we should work very hard, try to fulfill the mandate delivered by our ministers. Of course, due to the current challenges, climate change and green transition, digital gap, we should think about how to update the rule book. We still have, of course, also the sustainable development. Now we have a phase agreement too on the agenda. We have a long-standing issue like agriculture. We are also negotiating the e-commerce agreement. We already have IFD agreement, investment facilitation agreement in hand. How to incorporate this agreement into the WTO framework is also a challenge for us. So the major job for members, for officials working in Geneva, we should seriously think how to improve our daily work to deliver more.
The electronic vehicle issue is such an interesting one. So far, according to the media report, China has already filed for a consultation with the United States, with the EU, and with Canada. Can you tell us what is the procedure that we are following? I know you are a law major.
Technically, according to the WTO rules, if members have trade concerns on the other side, the member can initiate the process for consultation. But we know the consultation is just part of the process.
Very first step.
Yeah, the first step. The next step is the panel process. Formally, the third process may be the everybody. Now we are at the first step. Of course, normally, the first step can really resolve the problem. So, of course, the door for the mutual communication is still open. So,
you mean between China and the United States?
Yeah, we can always talk to each other, try to find a solution during the whole process.
By the two delegations to the WTO, or by the capitals?
Both, capital to capital,
delegation to delegation. I see.
Under the WTO framework, we have an institutional arrangement to help members to deal with the trade disputes. But the litigation is not the objective. The objective is trying to find the mutually acceptable solution to reach the win-win result. And for the Chinese EV, we have to say there's some misperception outside. Some people said, the Chinese EV is mainly driven by the subsidy. Actually, that's not the case. The development of the Chinese EV industry is benefit from the consistent policy guidance and also the continuous efforts by the industry, by the workers, and also the technology involvement. It's not just the subsidy. Of course, subsidy is one of the tools to help the countries to develop industry. If you only rely on subsidy, it will lead us nowhere.
How do you see the differences or similarities between the three cases? China-US, you filed for consultation, China-EU as well, and China-Canada latest.
During the green transition, every country faces the opportunities, also challenges. So we need to balance the competition and cooperation. So that's just the room. We can explore the solution. If we only focus on the competition, I think it will lead both sides to the corner. If we can have a picture in mind, we can cooperate to each other, we can create an even bigger cake. Right. Then think about how to share the cake. But now the thing is, cake is not ready, the members already think about how to share.
There is the rhetoric sometimes in the media coverage suggesting China wants to have all the cakes.
That's not the objective we pursue. China is always open and constructively cooperate with other members. I think everyone recognized in Chinese market, previously the Europe industry, the Europe company, the American company, the Japan, South Africa, all the major players, they compare to each other with China's domestic producers. They compare to each other to gain the money from China, right? China keeps the market open. When we develop our new energy industry, we also in a cooperative way. So we create a fair market condition for all the players. And we also conduct a further reform to further liberalize, further open our market for the outside competitors. We are not pursuing one-side winning game. We always prefer the win-win game.
But let's talk about the WTO as well. With the example, once again, of the electronic vehicles, consultation, panel support, and eventually, if cannot be resolved, the dispute has to seek the advice coming from the appellate body. But now, as we all know, the appellate body is having its problem because the judges of the appellate body have not been necessarily approved by certain members of WTO.
Yes.
Or shall I say, certain member of WTO. So many would ask, the electronic vehicle issue, would that eventually ended up, if approached to the third round of the work at WTO, ended up with no result or no answer?
The most favorable way to deal with the case is to trying to find solutions through the bilateral negotiation, consultation. Of course, the multilateral process is an alternative, right? Now the fact in Geneva is the appellate body cannot work. The traditional appellate body cannot work. But the lucky thing is, among certain members, we create a temporary arrangement for the second stance. So there is a kind of arbitration process can be used to make the final decision.
The coming year, January the 1st, 30th anniversary of the establishment of WTO, and the Marrakesh Agreement is being celebrated 30 years anniversary this year.
Yes.
So I know you have been working on WTO-related issues for decades. As someone who is a seasoned trade scholar and expert, how do you see WTO today? And which stage is WTO now, according to you?
As a multilateral trading system, WTO is the center of this system. From the previous stage, GATT, then 1995, the WTO established. I think trade, the facilitation of trade, the growth of the trade, really benefit the members to develop their economy. Of course, China is one of the beneficiaries. Now we contribute the annual average, near 30% of the economic growth to the world. So accession to the WTO help members to more successfully integrate into the world economy. I think that's the major advantage of the multilateralism. So for China, I think the WTO is still very important platform for us at this stage for today to pursue the high standard in institutional opening up. For others, it's the same. Of course, now the multilateral trading system has encountered a headwind. Unilateralism, protectionism, and decoupling. So we can still use the WTO as a battlefield to fight for the right direction of the history, to fight for the free trade. And also the WTO can still be used as a platform to further facilitate the trade and the investment among the members, to further update the existing rules, to improve the global economic governance, to help members more successfully, collectively tackle today's challenges and crises.
There is widespread rhetoric about, what's the use of WTO now? After all, they cannot agree with one another. But actually, it's much more sophisticated than that kind of rhetoric. You have already developed, if I understand right, Ms. Ambassador, among members, plurilateral approach. When you do not have everyone to sign on the same thing, you can still have many to do and reach consensus. Is investment facilitation one of those examples, do you consider?
Actually, if we look at the history, even in the GATT area, then the WTO area, the multilateral trading system is never a single-speed organization. In the WTO and the WTO legal framework, we have a multilateral agreement. We also have some plurilateral agreements. But of course, in the practice, members make the decision, pursue the rulemaking based on the consensus. This is the practice. But now, as you know, WTO is a big family with 166 members. Their national context different to each other, very diversified. So we should think about how to explore more inclusive approach, try to accommodate the different positions, the different views.
2/3 of WTO members are developing countries. Now, we all know the world cannot be divided by saying developed economies versus developing countries. But the developing countries, through South-South cooperation and many other ways, can do better together. Sitting where you are here in Geneva for China's representative in WTO, how have you been working together with other developing members? Meanwhile, to make sure the right balance is being done, not dividing the world into two, but rather try to incorporate all of them together for more consensus.
I think it's fair to say the multilateral trading system not only benefited developed members, it do benefit developing members. I can share with you some figures. Since the establishment of the WTO, the trade volume of the developing members changed from the 18% to 44%. Now the global share. The trade among the developing members increased from 8% to 25%. So we can see the value of the multilateral trading system to the developing members. So in WTO, developing members are strong supporters of the multilateral trading system. Of course, due to some historical reasons, there are some development deficit. That's why the development issue is always at the center of the WTO agenda. We should help the developing members better use the special and preferential treatment clause to help them better integrate into the world economy. And of course, we should explore the more new approaches to help the developing members narrow the digital gap. Now we are living in the digital area. Narrow the digital gap. We should not leave some members behind. That's our sustainable development objective. In WTO, we encourage, as one of the developing members, China is actively participate in all the discussions. We encourage all developing members more actively take part in the various discussions, negotiations, make their voice be heard, and try to formulate the rules which can address their concerns. So I think for developing members, we still have more work to do. Capacity building is another challenge. It's always a big challenge for developing members. We know that. We hope developed members can make more contribution to help developing members. As one of the developing members, China, we also make contribution to help other developing members to improve their capacity to participate in the multilateral process.
Thank you so much, sir.